Michelle. I never did get the notes written up from the last meeting, so I may not do it. But I'll
Okay.
take some notes for this meeting unless somebody else wants to do it. Peter, how are you? Have you recovered?
Hey, how's it going? I'm back.
Are you
Feeling,
well? Are you well now?
I am doing better. I'm on day 8, I think. Yeah, pretty much all the way back. Just my taste and smell are still a little iffy, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you had gotten it.
Yeah, it was a good run.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Skylar is here and
Yeah, I think the only one, let's see, Jane might join us, so
I
we could
think-
get started.
I think Jane is coming, but that's all
Oh,
right.
good. Okay. So the first thing that I had put, okay, Jane does want to come. All right, so Discovery Day is this coming Saturday, and Marley has offered to talk to her environmental club about volunteers to man the table. I asked the town board if they want to share a table. So there are certain things the town board's working on for the community that people might want to hear about. And then we could do the climate smart and get a sign-up sheet going and see, answer questions about community choice aggregation and the other things we're doing. So what I could use help with is, once I get information, putting a flyer together, some sort of handout. So I don't know if anybody has the time this week to do that.
I can take care of that, Michelle.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, just I guess if it isn't easy now, maybe after the meeting, just to give me all the pictures and words that you want on there, and I could do something like I did with the brochure last year for the farmers market.
Okay, great. And Sky, you had done something as well, right?
I had done a sort of general promotional flyer, yes.
Right. Okay, that, we could use that for the sign-up sheet, see if people want to sign up. So if you, let's see, if you have that handy, Sky, could you send that to me and Peter, and we'll get that going?
Sure.
Okay, and then Peter, I'll send you some other stuff specific to projects we're doing.
Cool.
Yay! So Marley, hopefully we'll have something for you tomorrow, and see if anybody wants to pitch in an hour to be at the table. All right, thanks. So my other update is that we had a bid opening at 1 o'clock today for the Community Choice Aggregator, and which is the next step in the whole community choice aggregation adoption process. And so far we've passed the law. Then we have to pick an aggregator. We have 2 bids, one from Jewel Assets, which is the organization that Jeff Demansky is connected with, and then another one from Good Energy. And so we have those 2 to analyze. It's not going to be an easy process, because it's not like there's a dollar amount that we could say, oh, this one's cheaper, we award the contract to that person. There's a 10-point weighted analysis that has to be done based upon factors in the proposal. So, and each proposal's between 90 and 100 pages, so it'll take a little while to figure that out.
And who, I'm just curious, we spoke with Charles de Castaja, Jim and I did. I think Mac was there as well. Have you had a conversation with him, or who are you dealing with at Good Energy?
Well, over the years, I've worked with Ed Carey and Javier.
Mhm.
who are still with Charles. And then over the last couple weeks, I've run into Charles at the pool a couple of times and have talked to him about it as well. So
And you're aware of some of the issues that some of the other communities have had with community choice aggregation. And I don't think it was so much with Jewel, but
I think they were the,
they were the administrator, but it
Yeah.
was I don't know what the term is.
I saw something in the news about that. Wasn't it that one of the providers or the suppliers of energy backed out?
Backed out of their contract
Right.
and left the community with rates that I think were well above the community's expectations. But I don't really have details, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But there are definitely pitfalls that I think we collectively need to be aware of, and just be really thoughtful about each of the participants that are providing the services to the community. And I think my other big takeaway from the conversation with Charles is, given the volatility in the energy markets right now, I think his advice was put the laws in place, wouldn't suggest moving necessarily immediately, just because there's a lot of volatility right now. But again, I have zero expertise in this. All I know is what I think Jim might take away from that conversation is just, to the extent you are going to move forward, and you move forward without, the village, just obviously be very thoughtful about, and make sure you've vetted every component of it.
Right. And as I was talking to Jim earlier, once the village passes its law, I
Mhm.
believe, I'll make 100% sure, but I do believe the village can, what they call piggyback on our request for proposals, that you
Right.
wouldn't have to go through that whole process. You could just
Okay.
look at what not that you have to choose who we
Right.
chose.
Right.
Um,
But we can piggyback if we want to.
Yes,
Right.
I'm gonna double check that, but
Okay.
I know you could do that in other instances, so I can't imagine you wouldn't be able to here. And also, speaking with Charles, he also did say that it's really hard to do 100% renewable right now. But I think the town would want to wait until we can. And,
Well, so that's really interesting, right? Because talking with Jeff, it's a pretty expansive definition of renewable, right? I mean, what I heard is 90% of renewables are effectively Canadian hydropower, right?
Water, yeah, hydro, definitely.
Royal Hydro, right?
Yep.
So, yep. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you had connected with Charles, because he seems like he has a lot of institutional knowledge, industry knowledge, and I think while we all need to be aware that there are potential conflicts, on the other hand, I think the contracts for either the town or the village would be a relatively small percentage of any business that Good Energy would be generating. So I'm a little bit less concerned. In fact, candidly, I think Charles was going the opposite direction, which is he didn't really want to, you know, be providing these services for a community where he grew up. And it's just like, right, it's just there are negatives associated with that for him personally as well. So
Yeah, he did mention that. He didn't want people, if they're not happy or just anytime he goes to the
the
club
pool,
to
yeah,
be
right,
inundated by questions.
right,
So, but then he seemed to have changed his mind. And that when I saw him yesterday at the pool, he was pretty excited about putting in the bid. So we'll see.
okay, great,
I
right,
I think that if you want to take a look at the proposals, I think that's okay, even at this point.
hmm
I'll check with our attorney and see if that's okay. Um,
But I mean, the next steps for the village are to pass the law. And
Exactly.
Correct.
I guess there's no reason why we should wait to do that. Is there? I mean,
No,
what do you think, uh, Josh, about that? I mean, the board has gotten a briefing by Demansky, and
yep.
so they understand, I think, that there is no huge commitment to pass the law, but you can start going, and the commitment comes later on.
Yep.
So, do you think that could be introduced at the next board meeting?
Yeah, yeah, I think it can be. I'll talk to the mayor about it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be at the next meeting, but I'm obviously supportive. I don't know why anyone wouldn't be supportive. I'll talk to the mayor about it and get that teed up.
Okay.
And again, it shouldn't be a big effort. This is a well trodden road.
And who had? Can you send me a copy of the law?
The one that the town passed, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there's a resolution too, I believe.
Okay.
So,
All right.
um,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see what we can do with that.
Okey doke. Okay, that's it for me. Jim?
Yeah, well, just going through the agenda, my agenda items, we're happy to announce, Skylar and I, that the greenhouse gas inventory of the village has been completed. And it has been reviewed by Eli Udall of CLEI, who is basically the person who we have reached out to when we have questions on any aspect of the inventory. And he approved our inventory with some suggestions that Skylar and I are acting on. It turns out that we are the first community in Orange County to do such a greenhouse gas survey, which surprises me, but it seems to be the case, according to Kate Schmidt from the Orange County office.
Do we get an
now-
award for that?
What's that?
Do we get an award for that?
Well, I would hope so,
Maybe
but I
a
doubt it.
grant. A pat on the
An
back,
article in the paper, maybe at least.
right?
Now we're working on the report.
Oh, you know
Skylar
what?
and I, for the.
All kidding.
Go ahead,
all-
Josh.
Yeah, all kidding aside, Jim, if you let Mac know that, he will make sure it gets publicized.
Okay, good.
That's
If he can be first in something,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
will make sure people know it. So,
Okay. I will let
Yeah.
it go. Okay. So we're now working on the report, Skylar and I, and we're making good progress with that. I would hope the report would be ready by the BOT meeting toward the end of this month. And we'll also distribute it to all this committee for them to look at. And then there's some tidying up to do with the inventory, but I think I can take care of that. And I think then probably we'll start with the next steps are to develop a community action plan for both the village and the village government and the community at large. And we will probably get going on that in the fall, I suspect, rather than during the summer. Now, the report actually has some flaws, which I think, I mean, flaws are, if they're correctable, they should be corrected. And I'm hoping that we can. I spoke to Kate Schmidt about having Orange County do a traffic study, and then communities within the county can scale down their estimate of emissions based on the county study. And that's preferable to what we ended up having to do. Since there's no county study, we had to scale down from the state level, which is a stretch. So I wrote her a letter, and she's going to pass it on to their highway department and see if anything can be done about that. The alternative is that maybe with our gate and our knowledge of how many cars there are in the park and how they are all propelled, which the police are now gathering that information. And with somebody sitting at the gate they perhaps could record the type of vehicles that enter and exit the park. And I don't know, whatever you need to do, that we might be able to do our own study with our own police department for our village, which would be the best. Now, Kat Carroll, who Michelle knows, I asked her at the last meeting of the Orange County group, or I asked that group if any of them could help us find out how you do such a study, because it's I don't, there must be some science to this, and there must be a way to do it that qualifies and a way to do it that doesn't qualify. So she said she would look into it, and I emailed her again today, and she said that hopefully within a few days she will get some advice back from people who are knowledgeable about this in her office. So we will see when that information comes back, whether it's something that is possible for us to do, or maybe it isn't, in which case we'll have to take some other course. But that flaw hopefully can be corrected.
Jim, would the car type be associated with when residents get the tags for their
Yes.
cars?
Yes, and
Oh,
record the car type.
It is.
Or how the car is propelled. Is it a hybrid? Is it electric? Is it gasoline? Is it diesel? Whatever it is, yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was like.
The problem is we have a lot of vehicles that aren't tagged as well, right? That are coming in. So
Right.
Mm.
They're important too, but that's where the police might be able to make an inventory of those. How many 18-wheelers, how many
It
prime.
might already exist. I'm thinking like it might just be an Excel spreadsheet just on someone's hard drive if this is being kept track of to any sort of degree of accuracy.
Yeah. Well,
I don't.
I don't know. I don't think the guard is very busy now with the automatic gate, and this would occupy his time. But that would require the cooperation of the police, and I haven't explored it, but there's no point in exploring until we know what we have to do. And once we know that, we can talk to the police about it and see if it's possible. It may or may not be possible. But that's not for this report. That's for the next inventory, which we would do in, it could be as early as 2023. That would be 5 years after the inventory we just completed for 2018. But we'll see. There are a lot of uncertainties about all that, and so I guess yeah, Skylar and I talked before, and I think in fact we've reported to the board to some degree about this. I asked Skylar to look into how we would reach out to the community because part of this community action plan needs some some communication with the community at large. And we thought that we decided there were vehicles available. We didn't need to set up our own website or that kind of thing to do it. So I did approach TPFYI if they would be willing to help with this, and they are. So actually how we do it with TPFYI has not been determined, but I think that's probably a good way to go.
Jim, do you want to use this Discover Day on Saturday to try and gather information?
What kind of information?
What, the information, or the community outreach?
No, I'm not still quite clear.
Well, you want to use TPFYI for community outreach?
Yeah.
Whatever that is
Yeah.
composed of?
Right.
If it's.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't think we're quite ready yet.
Okay.
It would be, if we were a little further along, you're right. I think that would be a good time to do it. But what do you think, Skylar? You think we could use the table in the town to in some way? I'm not sure.
Well, my thought would be that we would create some sort of a series of surveys, or we would have, I guess, a sort of more formal means of soliciting thoughts. But I wouldn't see a problem with having someone sat at a table. I'll be out of town this weekend, unfortunately, so I will not be able to pitch in. But I think I think we could, yeah, there could be scope for perhaps setting up a, I mean, I don't know, like a little survey with comments you could write on and give back to whoever sat at the table. I don't know, I'd have to think about that, but I think it'd be a shame not to take advantage of this day, of the Discover Day in that respect. So
Why don't we do this then? Why don't we think about it and get to Michelle as soon as possible? Anything we think about? How is that?
yeah, that works.
Hmm.
I'll be more
What's your
available to work
what's
on
your
it Wednesday.
okay? What's your deadline for this kind of information?
Well, I would say even, Friday night, Saturday morning, if all you would need is a clipboard. Diana is also going to be at the table with me, and if you want to just write up a survey and maybe could you create like a QR code for people if they want to do it later, that kind of thing? I know we
Yeah,
did that recently.
that's easy enough to do. I could do a QR code to a Google survey. That'd be easiest.
Okay.
Right?
think-
So you don't even have to have it completely done Saturday, but you could just have a flyer saying, please join our community survey. Here's the QR code, do it at your leisure and get back to us, and,
Okay,
right?
that's
So
good.
if you want to do that.
Yeah, we'll do what we can.
Mhm.
Okay. Super.
Um,
Anything from the village board, Josh? Or anything else?
So I think Jim mentioned it. We sent out RFQs for riparian buffer at the southern end of the park, or southern end of the lake rather,
Mhm.
on the area that we cleared last year. And then Chuyen Hempel and myself, this is really a club related matter, but directly related, surveyed the club property with Randy St. John, the general manager, for about an hour on Sunday. And one of the landscape architects that we put an RFQ out to is meeting with Chuyen. I think it's Larry Weiner. He's working with Chuyen and Christopher Gao on the racetrack project, and has been. And he's going to be meeting with Randy St. John tomorrow. And I'm hopeful that over the next few months, we, meaning the club, can get on the riparian buffer bandwagon, and potentially even start seeding the next available window, which would be October. And the area we're talking about, I think politically will be the easiest, would be the area around the boathouse. So the club property, so basically where that lawn is, all the way to the entrance to the boathouse, is great for planting native species. And then, the Holy Grail, which just we might be able to do this year, but I think just might be a little bit more for a little bit more for people to get their heads around, is that path at the bottom of the lawn between the main clubhouse and the lake, and putting in a riparian buffer there. But Randy's very supportive. Obviously, will require board support. I'm going to be off the club board as of Thursday. I'll be having a massive party Thursday night. 8 years of dealing with member complaints will end. But I'm hopeful. We have a new president that will be coming in. And I think we're going to be done with the golf course renovations, so that'll free up a lot of resources. And so I'm very candidly very I'll say I'm cautiously optimistic that by next spring, we have the beginnings of riparian buffers, not only at the south end of the lake, but also on the at the club, which would be great. And I think we've taken the Weewa Park off the table for now because where Jim and Chuyen and Christopher had wanted to put a buffer is now a beautiful Caribbean beach. So that's no longer possible. And I know, Jim, you're not particularly happy about it, but hopefully that's offset by the fact we're making progress elsewhere.
Well, I think so. It definitely is. And thank you so much for what you're doing and what you've done in this respect. It really has been extremely helpful and very, very encouraging. And I don't think I think there's going to be pushing needed still, but I'm encouraged that Frank Peverly will be sympathetic to this kind of thing. I certainly hope he will. I'm certainly going to speak to him about it. And
Good.
I think we'll get other people to speak to him too.
I think I think he'll be very open-minded. And, you know, I think Chuyen and you, candidly, and Christopher Gao have approached it in the right way, which is, you know, basically saying, hey, we're not dogmatic, we're practical. You know, this is not, it has to be this way or the highway. And I think that's going to be the best way, candidly, to win over the community. And what I told Chuyen is I really, the best way to use me, and I think you figured this out, Jim, is just if things are stuck or things need pushing, that's when I can be most helpful. Otherwise, I think I just get in the way. So Chuyen's connected with Randy right now. You're gonna connect with Frank. And I basically, my message is go forth and prosper. But if you're having trouble, obviously just let me know and I'm happy to step back in.
Well, you've done that already for us in several occasions, both with the club and with, but even more importantly, with the school in terms of the greenhouse gas inventory. Your intercession there really loosened things up and made them happen. So we're very grateful for your doing that. Okay, that's all. I think Jane Garofano had something she wanted to say. Did you, Jane? You're muted. Oh, you're muted.
Okay. I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't know that I was supposed to.
No, I didn't know you were, but you sent me an email saying I should put you on the agenda.
Yeah, you know, after the fact, so let me just report on the recycling project. And that is that I got nowhere with Mac, unfortunately, with asking if he wanted me to come, if somebody should go to the meeting and present what we plan on doing here in the village, since we do have the town pretty much in place about how many bins there are, and that's been taken care of. But the village, as from the last meeting till now, has been challenging, to say the least, getting any information. But I did finally, you know, and then I went back and I cried to Michelle that I couldn't get anywhere. And then I came up with, okay, let me try John Ledwith. And sure enough, bingo, just the other day, he gave me some information that I can either, are you taking anything down, Jim, or
Yeah.
I write it to you?
I've got it.
All right. So regarding the recycling in the village, he said that the DPW does not recycle weekly. They only recycle scrap metal a few times a year. And then I'll go to number 3, which is the village office. That I knew that they do recycle. They have a bin inside and they have one outside. The police department became precarious because they just today, June 6th, he found out that there was a dilemma in the recycling bins outside the police station on Nursery Road. And so then he sent me a map of where these bins are going to be. I didn't get a chance to run down and look at them, but I was waiting for Denise to also call me back. It seems that the town, Michelle, picks up for the village police. Were you aware of that?
No, but I guess that makes sense if they put them out on Nursery Road and,
Mm.
I guess that
So
makes
they
sense.
were not recycling. It was all
Uh-huh.
just being picked up once a week, recycle and garbage. And so there was no recycling. And then John got some more information for me, and he said that as of today, literally, that they were having these, they had bins on Nursery Road, way behind there, and that they were going to pick up recycling as well. So then I called the police department back and I asked them if they had any small blue containers anywhere in the police station, and they said no. So that's where we're at the police department, that they are now going to recycle, but they don't have any containers to really, put it in. It all goes in one place. So
Hmm.
what should we do?
Well, I was just down at Ace in Suffern and they sell really nice size bins, recycle bins for $16.99. I would think, maybe just ask John to purchase them.
Wasn't Home Depot, when I had looked, Home
Yeah,
Depot,
or Home Depot,
they were
but
much cheaper.
these are 30, they're quite large.
Big?
Maybe
Oh, they're large.
if
Okay.
you get the small baskets, yeah, they'll be cheaper,
Oh,
which
all right.
could be
So
enough.
then should I go back to John and
Yeah.
ask him to get a few so that they have one in different places, that they will collect it and they will put it in the separate new container?
Okay, yep,
All right.
yep, yeah, because
Okay.
IWS will supply the bin for the road,
Right, that's what they did.
yeah,
Yes,
okay, good.
yes.
I didn't
So
know that, okay.
yes, so I'm not quite sure if it will be Morange, it will be IWS.
Yes,
Yes, okay. So that kind of covers the village then. And
good.
my question is, what, when and where can we put all these labels that I had made on the bins?
Well, we'll get, yeah, you
Let's
and I
get,
can
let's
just,
get the bins.
Well, we
Yeah,
have the
and-
bins in the school that are already there that need to be labeled.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
maybe
Marley do
maybe
that?
Marley's,
I want to know if Marley can do that.
maybe her environmental group could do that.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
Marley, are
do
you
that.
there?
oh,
Yeah,
she's here. Go ahead, Marley.
we can do that. If you could just email it to me so I don't forget, if you don't mind.
Okay, so that they would, the labels that I had made would go on each one of the bins, that shows what can go in it and what does not go in it. And in the town, it would be no glass.
Mm-hmm.
So should I leave them then? I think there's 30, wait a minute, 30 something, 35 in the high school and 17 in the elementary. So
Mm-hmm.
can I leave these labels with, at the front office
Yeah, that works.
for you?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And what, Michelle, what about in the, the ambulance doesn't have any, and the fire department doesn't have any?
All right, let me follow up with them, see if they will consider that. I'll talk to Chris Casker
All right,
and John Kilduff.
okay. And I think that can pull all of this together. I'll get back to John and ask him to purchase with a max approval or whatever to get these, now that they're going to have a bin outside for it to have something to collect it.
Right, that
Okay,
makes sense.
okay. And
Perfect.
this then could be, I believe, the end of this part of the project.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I think we're getting towards the end there, perfect.
Yes.
I-
with the other one being for special events. That was another category as a sub under the recycling.
That's a little harder because I've been pricing out those larger containers and they're ridiculously expensive. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a new source for those. So we'll continue to work on, but thank you for your persistence.
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Very good. Thank
And
you.
thank you, Marley, for taking care of the school.
Could I ask Josh a question? It's
Sure.
going back. I forgot to ask it. But Josh, who's the BOT liaison to the police?
So it was me, and recognizing that I was going to be leaving and that we needed something that was more permanent, we transitioned that to being the general manager. So as opposed to a named individual, right now it's Randy St. John, but are you saying
No, I meant the
your
police.
your
The
village?
police- the police department.
Well, you're saying which trustee? It's Chris Casker.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yeah. But of course, Mac is actively involved, but Chris is the point person.
Got it. Okay. It's
All right.
just I wanted to talk to him because I think I think there's an opportunity to gather quite a lot of information because of the new uh, the new gate keeping arrangement and the fact that it's computerized, and I just don't know how much can be, how much we could learn and what should we be learning from what's possible. So that's
Right.
I wanted to work through him if I could. I think that's
Right. Well, if you've
really good.
spoken direct, I mean, you could also, yeah, that's probably the right way to go. I was going to say you could just speak directly with the chief, but you going through Chris is probably the right way to go.
Okay.
And
I
again,
I
just
could
like
probably
everything
do
else,
both, but I'd like to get him into the loop.
Yeah, and if you run into any issues, just let me know. I can be helpful.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other help you need on Saturday?
Oh, yes. Would you like to come down and just,
Well, I'm caught between St. Mary's and you,
okay, but,
but I can do, I could do 12 to 1.
oh, excellent. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
'Cause I
much.
saw that Diana's on there at 11.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no, I said I could do from, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do from 9:30 to 12 if you need, somebody's,
Oh,
So that's-
awesome.
I'll go. Oh, okay. I'll go at 12.
yeah, or 12:30 even. I'm okay for Saturday. I blocked out my, calendar, so even 9:30 is fine.
Oh, thank
9:30
you
to
s-
12:30 is fine.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Anybody else just stop by and hang out for a while at our table? Oh, and Jeff Demansky's gonna be there too.
Oh, good.
She'll be
Right.
nice. I don't, not the whole 4 hours,
Mm.
but
It seems that it's going to be, there's a lot of people involved in it.
there's a waiting list for tables, actually.
Is there really?
Wow, great.
There was Kimberly Breland's idea initially.
Yes.
That's where it
Nice.
started.
Oh, good idea.
I just made some fabulous that she put together, fabulous postcards to send out to a whole mailing list for the church with upcoming events and over the summer and so forth and about the church to do recruitment. And I'm glad that I nominated her for the vestry because we put her to work already. So yeah, she was the one that started the way back in the winter about this tuxedo day.
Yep, no. She and I think Marley's mom was heavily involved with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it'll be the first of its kind, so I'm looking forward to seeing it, the whole community being brought together. I think it's a great idea. Okay, so let's go through. Peter, anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing else, I think. I know we probably have some catching up because I missed last month about any of the DEC items that we owe about the community aggregation and the other projects. I guess a question for Jim, sort of unrelated. The thing you're talking about with the traffic study, is that a component of the reports that you're doing, or is that its own action item?
No, it's a component of the
I gotcha.
inventory. Yeah.
Okay.
And Peter, I thought that the unified solar permit was going to be a slam dunk, but I'm going through all the hurdles to get that done.
Gotcha.
I thought that was going to be the easiest thing, but no.
If there's any way I could support you in that, give me a heads up. I'm not sure if it's a one person job, but I'm available.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and the LED street lights are done.
Awesome.
So that's great. Moving forward. Okay, Skylar, would you like to add anything?
Nothing really. I mean, Jim mentioned that we are almost done with the report. I'm just working on the little formatting issues here and there and making sure all the acknowledgements are in there. And obviously, we'll be working on the survey for the Discovery Day and
Yeah.
for the community outreach writ large. So, yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that. The town's going to be doing a survey as well. What people, trying to get an idea of people's priorities for what they want the town to do, community-wise.
Mm.
So that'll be interesting too. That's for the, other types of things. Marley, you want to tell us a little bit about your environmental club? Anything else?
I mean, meetings have been a little sporadic lately just because everyone's very swamped with regions and stuff. But I don't know. We mainly do like a lot of hikes and stuff. We were gonna do something for Earth Day, but then we didn't end up having time. But we wanted to like bring someone in to speak, and then we didn't end up doing it. But it's a little slow this year just because like everything's kind of kicking back into gear after COVID and stuff. But
Well, we look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. You come by the table and help us out. That'd be greatly appreciated. Diana, anything?
I'm just waiting to hear from you so we could start to work on what we need to work on together. So
Yes, that's the greenhouse gas emissions. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get to that.
Good.
Yes, I
And
can.
I think Saturday will be fun.
Yes,
hopefully.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else to add?
I guess there was a question raised at one point, and I'm sort of neutral about it at this point, as to whether or not we would meet in July and August, or whether we'd break for the summer and meet in September. I mean, we are meeting remotely, so no matter where we are, we can do this. Even though we're on vacation, we could do it. But I'm wondering just how people feel about that. We're sort of in what Scott and I have been doing. Hopefully, we'll be finished by the end of this month, and I don't know if Skylar is going away. He may be going away, so I don't know anything about that. So we're sort of at a pause point with our work.
Yeah.
I mean, we could start the climate action thing, but I think probably it's better to do it in September.
All right. The first Monday is July 4th, so we know we're not going to meet that day.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then, of course, September's Labor Day. Do we want to meet on the Wednesday, like September 7th instead of Labor Day? Something like that? Kick off the year?
Works for me.
Okay, or the following Monday. I don't know if we change
Well-
the day of the week. Is that a problem for people?
Yeah, the next Monday would be a town board meeting.
Okay, so that's not good.
Uh,
The 7th is fine.
Yeah.
so why don't we just figure, like, going forward, anytime the first Monday is a holiday, we'll meet on the Wednesday, so that'll be in people's minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so
I'll be in Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Sounds
waiting, we don't want to go in August because it's so crowded. and
Sure.
So we're going the day after Labor Day
Oh,
Wonderful.
to relatives. Good. But I will keep you posted on what, what, and make a report on what's done with after we get the labels and things on.
okay, excellent. Josh, did you raise your hand? No?
Sorry, no, I was
Thinking
communicating
to
with my
yourself?
wife,
Oh.
Rowena. Yeah.
Well, everybody, we hope to see you Saturday if you could come down. I know a lot of people will be away, but
Yeah.
hope to see you over the summer. And for those of you who'll be around on Saturday, I look forward to that.
Did we decide not to meet in July and August?
I think that's probably
Yeah.
a good idea.
Okay.
I know I'll be away several times, so I mean, I'll try my best, but
Yeah.
it's hard. July and August.
Okay, so September 7th is the next meeting.
September 7th, and we'll just kind of gives us time to just get caught up with things. And
Yeah.
we can certainly communicate by email if anything big
Sure.
happens, like, anything moves forward on community choice aggregation.
Sure.
So we could just do that. Okay, Jim, yeah, anybody have anything they want to share with the group?
Michelle, I have an idea. What about doing a midsummer or first week of August update through
Okay.
email?
Oh, like an email, just, okay.
Yes, an update
Mhm.
that we don't have to physically meet, but that Jim puts out an email and we all respond to it in terms of an update. And that kind of
That
keeps,
assumes we've been working.
Yeah.
well, I know that, Jim.
Yeah.
And
I
I know
don't
you
think
didn't get
that's
into the
gonna work.
pool today. Jim, do you hear me?
Well, yeah, I hear you.
Did you get
I
into the
don't plan to
pool?
do any work over the summer.
No.
But I'm plan to do a lot of work in September, but I'm not going to do anything over the summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we still, the rest of us
I can
could,
give you an update.
yeah, do an
Okay.
update.
Okay, so just send anything you would like to be included in that email to Jim, and Jim and I will compile it all and send it out.
All right. Well, let's set a date for that so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Jim, will you tell me what your,
No, it doesn't matter.
okay,
I'll have my computer with me, but
Well,
I don't know where I'll be. I have no idea.
well,
But
August 1st is the first Monday, so why don't we just
That's
say
good.
that'll be our goal?
That's good.
So we have
okay. So people get things in
like the
before first
Thursday,
of
Friday,
August,
something before
and I'll
that.
send it out on the 1st. Or you want to have people send it in on the 1st
Yes,
or before?
Okay, well, they could send it in on the 1st.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Great.
Well, everyone, I'll miss seeing you all virtually, but hopefully I'll be seeing you around town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Have a
Bye.
good night.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.